Kyoto Bank, a major shareholder of Nintendo, has refused to sell their shares to woke investors. This is Levistro, the Dragon of Cyberspace, coming to you with all news, tips, and tricks within the gaming spectrum. If you like my work and wish to support, please hit the subscribe, like, and notification bell. Share this video so we can push out into the algorithm and join our Discord. And don't forget to join us 10:30 every night Central Time for Levistro Plays. Well, I normally don't go on Reddit for news. I did find this one because I do follow Kotaku in Action, and Kotaku in Action is the main hub for GamerGate. Welcomes discussion on the industry and community. So I saw this one. I rarely come on here. I lurk once in a blue moon, and this was posted 11 days ago. It states Kyoto Bank, which has supported Nintendo since its inception, is a major shareholder, rejects pressure from U.S. capital to sell Nintendo shares. Under the guise of capital efficiency, U.S. financial capital forced Kyoto Bank, which had held Nintendo shares for a very long time since the company's inception, to sell them. However, Kyoto Bank refused to sell in order to protect their unique business practices. Now, Kyoto Bank is apparently looking for conservative investors in the Middle East and Asia who will defend their traditional business practices. The president of Kyoto Bank is a distant critic of the imposition of uniform rules by U.S. financial capital. And like I said, I don't usually go on Reddit for news because it's usually a gossip site, but they gave a link here. And I had to translate it to English because it was in Japanese because it's Bloomberg's Japanese website. They give a link here. Kyoto FG President policy shares continue to be held, including 1 trillion yen. But this is back in July 9th of 2024. However, it states the ratio of president reappointment of all general meeting will rise, and we will have an active dialogue with overseas investors. We have invested since its inception and expected further growth in the future. Kyoto Financial Group President Shinhiro Doi said that the company's policy holdings it's just a stock of money that has been bought and increased. I want to keep it as much as I can, he said, recognizing he did not think of a significant reduction. Investors' eyes on the policy stocks held by the financial institutions and operations companies are becoming more stingy such as worsening capital efficiency. Please keep in mind this is translated to English. With more companies accelerating policy stock reductions, Kyoto FG's efforts will be a response that sets us apart from these moves. At the end of March, the company had approximately 1.1 trillion yen in policy shares, and the top holding stocks, Nintendo, amongst some other ones here. There are famous companies with headquarters in Kyoto. The valuation profit is above 970 billion yen, and the market capitalization is about 830 billion yen at 8 days. The implication at the feet has extended 1 trillion yen. As President Joy said, I will review the part that I will review, not the whole Kyoto stock. But I have invested from the beginning, not just the stock I have as a holding, and I still expect to grow. Most companies can do it. And he gives a little graph here. As the shareholders meeting held on June 27, President Joy's approval for the reappointment of directors rose from 75% to 60% in the previous year. Despite strong performance, the approval rate has been sluggish in recent years due to huge policy stocks, resulting in some understanding from investors. Prior to General Assembly, the U.S. voting advisory firm Institutional Shareholder Services ISS recommended opposition to its proposal board of directors due to the large number of policy shares. On the other hand, over the past 2 years, the British fund has been seeking special dividends. Silchester International Investors. This time I was looking off the shareholder proposals. As for the background of an improved appraisal rate, President Doi explained that the result is an active dialogue with overseas investors. He was able to understand the significance and merits of policy stocks. He said he would continue to persistently appeal to domestic and foreign investors the significance and benefits of policy stocks. He also said, I want to find investors who can support ideas in Asia and the Middle East and do activities that allow us to invest. Meanwhile, he said he feels more need for dialogue with domestic assets managers and other institutional investors. Recently, more and more operation companies have incorporated a policy of opposition to the appointment of top management when the holding of policy shares exceeds 2% of net assets. In the case of Kyoto FG, corresponds to more than 9% of net assets. President Joy said Kintaro looks like Akira, no, but the standards of throat is uniform. I don't think it can be helped, but I can't see the liquidity diversity on the plus. He complained he was frustrated with the lack of voluntary judgment about the exercise of voting rights based on numerical criteria. In 2022, company announced a policy reduction policy which would reduce 16 billion yen book value basis in about 3 years. However, the balance on a market-based basis has increased due to stock increase. We want to show the new contractory policy during the announcement. Now, well, I also, I'm sorry for not rolling that down for y'all. There you go. Y'all can read it if y'all want. But, well, I normally don't really uh, do economic readings because it gets boring. I did want to point out this right here, the Institute Shareholder Services (ISS). I don't know who that was. At first, I thought it was a U.S. government branch. I felt it was something to share on the video. But this right here, never heard of them. I actually thought they were a government branch for a second until I Googled them up. Here they are right here. As you can see right here. Discover key ESG risks and opportunities for investors in 2024. A commitment to diversity, inclusion, and equity, DIE. We believe that each individual within our global team enriches the environment we work at and supports our creative thinking, helps drive innovation, which is critical to our future growth. This is how old they are. Founded in 1985, Institutional Shareholder Services Group of Companies, ISS, empowers investors and companies to build for long-term and sustainable growth by providing high-quality data, analytics, and insight. ISS, which is majorly owned by Dutch Borsch Group, along with ISS Management, is a leading provider of corporate governance and responsible investment solutions, market intelligence, fund services, and events, and editorial content for institutional investors and corporations globally. ISIS is 3,200 employees, generate worldwide across 25 global locations, 15 countries. It's probably blah blah blah. It's approximately 4,200 clients, including many of the world's leading institutional investors who rely on ICE's objective and impartial offerings, as well as public companies focused on ESG and government risk mitigation as a shareholder value enhancing measure. Clients rely on ICE's expertise to help them make informed investment decisions. So there you go. Founded as an institutional shareholder service, ISS Governance is a global provider of independent and objective shareholder meeting, research, and recommendations, providing multiple voting policy choices as well as end-to-end workflow solutions for institutional investors. More than 2,000 clients worldwide utilize ISS Governance actionable and the expertise to help them make informed investment stewardship decisions and to help them manage their voting responsibilities. Covering over 50,000 meetings annually, ISS Governance leverages its extensive global footprint, deep experience, high quality data, and analysis, unified client support, and technology infrastructure to continue evolve and extend its innovations and its innovative suite of solutions to meet client involving portfolio, fiduciary, and stewardship requirements. That was a mouthful. That was a mouthful. Here's your ESG. ESG solutions enable investors to develop and integrate responsible investing policies and practices, engage on responsible investment issues, and monitor portfolio company practice through screening solutions. It also provides climate data, analytics, advisory services to help financial market participants understand, measure, and act on climate related risks across all asset classes. In addition, ESG solutions cover corporate and country ESG research and ratings, enabling its clients to identify material, social, and environmental risks and opportunities. ISS ESG provides institutions with established standard in measuring, analyzing, projecting value and discounting a firm's underlying economic profit through the provisions of economic value added (EVA). Now I could keep going in here. The other parts. To me, it sounds like Kyoto Financial Group's president doi is very based. Going back to the Reddit, right? Seems like a lot of people said the same thing. So base banks can't exist just makes me hate the American ones even more. Am I the only one who feels US and UK capital is too radical in buying up shares and making share proposals with its overwhelming capital power against Kyoto Bank, a traditional small bank that has supported a local Kyoto economy for over 100 years? I think it's obvious that Kyoto Bank has supported Nintendo, Murata Manufacturing, and Kyocera since they were small and medium-sized enterprises, has a cultural significance beyond mere asset ownership and holding shares in local Kyoto companies. The president of Kyoto Bank seems like a total Chad and an absolute patriot. I don't know about patriot, but he does seem to have both business and common sense. Imagine a Mario game handled by a Western studio. Princess Peach is a strong, confident woman, and she has to rescue Mario and Luigi, who got in prison. Still sucks what happens to Sony when they move to their HQ to the land of the blue-haired Alphabet Brigade crowd. There is still somebody with good business sense in Japan is very good to see. After repeated blunders from Sony, Capcom, and Square Enix, I was starting to feel pessimistic. Sticking to your guns, that's rare these days. I know fuck all about economics. How can the U.S. force them to do that? Well, it's not the U.S., it's one company in the U.S., in my view, from what I've read. Kyoto Bank is a very small bank that has worked hard to support the local economy. They have been supporting local business for 100 years. At the U.S. current institutional investors based in the U.S. who own shares of Kyoto FG, they invest their capital to own part of the company so they get a say in how it's managed and who runs the company. And that's the thing. When they can't convince you with journalism back in Gamergate 1 to buy certain games, they could influence that game devs that way. Then they started going into the industry here. And when the industry would refuse, then they go to the investors and make the investors tell the corporations and companies how to make their games. And it just goes on from there. Because they're terrorists. They're bullies. They use force. They know their ideas suck. They know their ideas aren't real. They know what they're asking for goes against the norm of natural life and how things run. They know everything they believe is a fantasy. They know this. So they use force and they say the ends justify the means. They say the ends justify the means. So even though it may be evil and they would probably agree naturally if someone else did it, it's evil, they do it anyways because they believe in the end what we do is good and noble, so doing evil for the sake of good is justified. Which, as we know, two wrongs don't make a right. But what do you think, viewer? Is Kyoto's president based? Do you believe he's the reason why Nintendo hasn't gone fully woke in Japan? Do you wish more banks were like this president? Or should he be forced to sell his company's investments in those companies? Put your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, happy gaming.